You do not move through time and space. Time and space moves through you. Absolutely a contradiction, actually, absolutely a revolution from current thinking. Time and space are moving through you right now. You are not moving through it. In fact, there are no objects that actually move through time and space. The current thinking is that an object goes through time and space. And we'll treat time and space as a melded unit. We'll call it time-space as a singular thing. You can't really have one without the other. You can, but the whole thing collapses. So we'll call it time-space. And the current thinking is that an object moves through time-space. Therefore, the rate that the object moves through determines the time and determines the space itself. And the fact is that is not true. In actual physics, quantum physics, it is actually time-space moving through you. When you threw those paper airplanes before, they were not moving. It was time and space that moved. How about an arg with that? Arg. So everybody has a perception of reality that there is a single time-space. And a movement in an object through that time-space creates gravity. And that is not true. It is actually the object, you, your consciousness, now solidified in a human body with time-space moving through it. Look at it this way. You know what, some of you know what the old-fashioned film projectors were like. They had the reels of film, and it looped down through, and there was a light, and the light passed through the film and projected onto the screen. So it is the same in this case, the fact that time-space is moving. The time-space would be like the, let's say we have our projector with the light here, and the film would run down through. The projector isn't moving. The projector is not scanning down the film. The projector, the light, is stationary. The film is moving, going through and creating the illusion on a screen somewhere of a moving picture. But you, consciousness, light, are actually not moving. You say. So when I'm moving Caldra's arms, you say, well, isn't that movement? I said, actually not. Actually not. It's a perception that something has moved. Human would believe that the arm is moving, and actually, it's time-space that is moving. So you could say in this analogy here that here the film that's already come through the loop is the past. The film that is going to be going through the loop and getting enlightened is the future. And right here, that one clip that is making its way down through the gears and the reels and about to be illuminated, that is the now moment. So you could say that you are always that now moment. But the problem is, with some of the old understandings of time, space, and physics, that you're actually not here. Most people are not operating here, right at the projection level. They're up here. They're thinking about, oh, what's going to happen as the next film clip comes through with, oh, the terrible things, or they're worried about it, or fearing the future. And then they're also down here somewhere in the film reel that's already gone by. Oh, I shouldn't have done that, and I regret doing this, and poor me, I was a victim to all the circumstances. So they're not here. They're not right at the point of projection, the point of consciousness anymore. So it's very easy for them to believe, that they're moving through time-space. But in fact, they are not. In fact, you are not. It's a very interesting concept, but a reality as well. Time-space is moving through you right now, and as it does, it is creating a gravitational effect. When I use the word gravity, I'm talking about more than just Newton's gravity, something falling to the ground. Gravity in this case is a suction. It condenses, it creates density. So as time and space are moving through you right now, it is creating a gravitational effect. And the gravity is not just physical. It's not just on your body. For this true gravity actually holds in, traps thoughts and emotions. Imagine for a moment your thoughts and emotions just like it was a physical object being sucked in by the gravity. So you begin to believe that things that have happened in the past are real, and they're not. Not the way you perceive them. They're very, very different, but the gravity is holding these things in. The gravity holds in belief systems, individual belief systems, cultural belief systems. It holds in religious belief systems. So time and space moving through people right now is not only creating the physical reality, what you call the 3D, and causing people to believe that this is the only thing that's real. This gravitational effect causes people to say, well, this is it. The world's flat. This is it. It's stupid to think that the world would be round. The people on the bottom would fall off. And so the gravity of time and space not only holds in physical objects, but beliefs, thoughts, limitations, and everything else. It's absolutely amazing, this gravitational effect, how it keeps everything together. It keeps it held in. It keeps things solid. It keeps things from changing. The gravity of time and space helps to create experiences, what you would call solid, real experiences. It helps to keep you focused in your eyes and your ears and your physical senses, rather than the knowingness that you have that there is so much more. This gravity, as time-space moves through you, activated by consciousness, the gravity that it creates holds all of it in. And you've been trying to break out of it the whole time. Through what? With your consciousness, with your limited consciousness of the mind. You've been trying to break out. The knowingness says there is something outside this cage that I live in. But as you think about it, as you try to figure it out, time-space moves through you faster. Time-space causes more of a gravitational effect that holds in the fact that you are trapped. And this, my friends, is relatively simple as it may sound to some of you, is absolutely profound. You're going to be experiencing it in your own life. The old way of an object moving through time-space versus the new understanding that it's moving through you. It's radical physics, but it's also basically true physics. Most have the perception that if this is time, that they are moving through it. And they count it on their watch. They say, yeah, it took so much time to get through something. Most people think that time-space is a defined, undeniable, almost unchangeable thing. And it's not. It's not. Your life on this planet has been ruled by time, space. You've fallen into it. You've accepted time, space, that you're moving through it. You believe that you were born, and you go through your life, and then you die, and you have certain years associated with it, and you do certain things. You move through time and space. You go from today to tomorrow through time and space, and it's very linear. But the fact is, it's not. The fact is that it's not time that's defining you, that's defining your movement, your past, present, future. It's not time that does that. The reality is that here is consciousness with a circle with a dot. There's consciousness. And time, space moves through you. And in doing so, creates gravity, G, that holds everything in. Time, space is not solid. It's not a constant variable. It changes, and it changes from David to David, even though you both have the same name. It's different. Your time, space is different than David's time, space. Every time you move, there is a variable of time, space moving through you that's different than the movements of David. The time space that's moving through you, David, is determined by your thoughts, your belief systems, your physical actions, and the level of consciousness that you are allowing. That determines the flow or the movement of time space through you. And it's different than yours because your thoughts are different, your actions are different. There are two different gravitational effects that are occurring between these two. And you go, hang on, Adamus, I thought time space was a constant, and I thought gravity was a constant. Nope. And when you can let go of that, the fact that there's a force or a power that is determining your level of life, your gravity, your flow into life, when you can let go of the fact that there is a time God out there, a time space God out there, which there is not, when you let go of that fact that there is some power beyond you, you start experiencing freedom. Now, you're going to be experiencing this. That's why we're here. That's why we set out on this journey today. You're going to be experiencing it, and you're going to talk to some people about it. And we have a wise one here. She says, no way. But I guarantee you will. I guarantee you're going to have an experience with this, I don't know, a week from now, a month from now, it doesn't matter. You're going to have an experience that has a profound effect on your life, that shakes up your belief systems, that shakes up all the things that you've been holding on to, especially old emotions and old limitations. You're going to have one of those gee whiz aha moments, and you will go racing down the street to try to tell people about it, or at least your friends and neighbors, and trying to get them to get off of time, space. Yeah, okay. And it doesn't matter. And you realize that profound beauty. You'll watch as you may try to talk to them about this. You'll watch how time, space is moving through them. You'll watch how their consciousness, their thoughts, and everything else is creating the flow or the movement. But what's more important is the gravity, the suction that holds things in. Now, you say, but hang on a second. There's been a lot of scientific experiments, and there are certain properties of gravity that they just are. It's the physics of Earth. And you're telling us, Adamus, now that everybody has their own time space. There's not one great big one. Everybody has their own level of gravity, holding things in, keeping a reality in its shape. So what is it? Is it we all have our own, or is it one great big time-space God? It is all individual. It is your individual time-space, gravity, and as motivated by consciousness. And it is yours as well. But there has come to be, due to the gravity of time-space, there has come to be a mutual consensus, a common understanding. It's like a communal time-space. Most people are actually delighted to give up their sovereign time-space being and accept time-space God. Say, that's the way things are. I'll just have to go along with it. The clock hand moves at a certain pace. Objects move through space at a certain pace. That's the way things are. Next prop. I always got to have props handy. And most people are just going to accept the fact that when a ball is thrown, good catch, when a ball is thrown like that, that it is simply moving through time and space. And time and space are constant because you throw the ball back and it has a predicted and very determinable speed, arc, everything else in it. But that's just because there is a common, it's kind of a mass consciousness hypnosis about time and space. And it's true. It is true. And also at the same time, it is true that you have your own. When you begin to understand the implications of this, that's when you can be invisible. You simply go out of time. You still exist. You still have a physical body. You still have your I am. But you simply go out of their time. You simply remove yourself from the mass consciousness variable. It's amazing because it's magical, because you can still observe them. You can still be with them. But they won't see you. They won't know that you're there unless you choose to be. You manage, you own your own time-space. What is time-space? And how prevalent is it? Well, that leads to a lot of interesting discussions. You see, right now, this ball is not moving. Your paper airplanes did not move. That spider, it moved. That spider did not move. Kind of weird. Feels uneasy at first. What do you mean it's, yeah. Nice to have you again. Here, catch. It feels weird at first because you say, well, no, my eyes tell me that ball is moving. Try it. It's perception, absolutely. And this is not a magic trick. This is not a belief system. This is reality. Now, watch as I throw the ball in there and take a moment, step away from the old belief of we're all suspended in time, space, the time-space God, and watch as I throw the ball now up, not at you, to throw the ball up, and just look at it from the perspective that as I throw it, time-space is moving. Time-space is moving. The ball actually is not, but time-space is moving. It's shifting to accommodate the consciousness that has chosen to throw the ball. It is shifting to accommodate the desire to throw and to bounce the ball. The ball, Cauldre, you, are not really moving. Weird at first. Weird at first. But suddenly, as you let it set in, let it set in, you start seeing it, perceiving it different. And one of these days soon you go, I get it now. I get it. That's a quantum shift. And suddenly life becomes playful because you realize It's not time-space, this continuum that is often talked about, that is controlling you at all. It is serving you, and there is a profound difference. Current flat earth belief is that time-space is constant, relatively constant. Current belief is that you are inside time-space. That is akin to the tiger in its cage, but with the door open, the tiger in its cage and saying, I'm trapped in here. This is my reality. This is where I exist. The damn door is open. And just as it is for each and every one of you, time, space moves through you. You are the constant. You are the consciousness. This is profound. What is time, space? That's an interesting question. And how far does it reach? Well, there's a better word, actually, that we use for time-space because that's a relatively limited word. The word we use for time-space is, do you want to write down this, Linda, because Calder's handwriting is terrible. It's a very simple word. I'm going to ask you to feel into it for a moment. Don't think too much about it, but it's a simple word. Bon, B-O-N. Bon, B-O-N.
One word?
What?
That's one word?
Well, you could also make it two words, be on. Never thought of that before. See how brilliant she is? She perceives it as two words, beyond. I know it's bon. Bon, B-O-N, bon, bon, B-O-N. I guess it could be beyond, beyond. But it's bon. Bon is probably, bon would be like a hologram, like a fabric, but not a physical fabric, like the hologram that is prevalent everywhere where consciousness goes. It is a way of consciousness of perceiving and experiencing itself. It is a hologram onto which the consciousness is able to see, feel, experience, not see with the eyes, but feel, experience, to know itself. That is the core of everything in all of creation. It's not a substance. It's not measurable by anything in current science. Scientists don't really, they don't even know about it. But to help you to understand, at the core is Bon, and that creates then what your scientists do know a little bit about, plasma. Plasma. Not plasma as in blood, but plasma as in that substance that is the most, you realize plasma is the most prevalent substance of anything in the universe. But very, very little is really discussed or known about it. A dark hole is basically, and this is where Calder gets nervous because he's not a physicist by any means, but a dark hole is basically highly, highly, highly condensed plasma. So from Bon comes plasma. From plasma comes things like the ions, the way neutrons and protons and atoms and everything else works. But Bon is at the very, very core of it. You could say that Bon is the time-space, but it is more than just time-space as that you know as humans, time, space both being linear. Bon is kind of like the stage for consciousness, or the screen for consciousness on which to play. Bon, or time-space, exists in all realms. You have this thing called time-space that is pretty unique to the human journey, but if you go into another dimension, there is a form of time-space. It has to be. But it's Bon. It's not time as in the watch, and space like as in a size. It's simply a parameter, a variable that is there to serve consciousness. See, because consciousness does not create, is not energy. Consciousness is not physical reality. Consciousness chooses to have something, core something which to experience itself. Your greatest experience here on Earth is time-space. That allows you to do everything you're doing, time, space, and gravity. So Bon exists everywhere where consciousness journeys and experiences. It changes from dimension to dimension in a way. It's its effect. It's the way it allows consciousness to experience is different, but the basic element is still there. So it could be said in a way that a form of time-space exists in all the dimensions, but not necessarily in the same fashion that it exists here. A form of gravity or suction or attraction exists in all dimensions, but in a different flavor than what you have here. But let me go back to the main point. The point of today's gathering is that time and space, Bon, is moving through you. It is serving you. You are not serving time, space. It serves you. Question. Would you mind, let's do the microphone so everybody in the universe can hear you. So quick question, and I will entertain questions up to a point because there are a lot of questions. Will be.
So then energy would be nothing more than a perception.
Energy is a perception, but a very, very real. Energy is a form of Bon that is serving you. You could say, and again, here it gets a little tricky, but you could say that Bon is what some would call a unified energy field. But there are some misunderstandings about it. There is the field, the reservoir that's right here and everywhere, of energy potential that is an absolutely neutral state. It has no positive or negative charge to it. It is waiting for consciousness to activate it. It is waiting then to turn into activated energy, positive or negative energy. It is waiting to turn into plasma. It is waiting for the activation ultimately into atoms and molecules and everything else in your reality that is enabled by gravity. Gravity, once again, being time and space. Let me demonstrate one more thing while we're talking. The time-space field, the time-space element, is kind of like a funnel, or for those who know what a venturi is, a venturi dealing with fluid dynamics. Basically, if you have fluid flowing through a vessel, and that vessel then is constricted at a point, and then opens up again at a point, there is a flow of fluid. There is an amount of pressure. There is time and space in here. This is called a venturi. It deals with liquids, but it could be applied to other things. As it flows through here and it becomes constricted, what happens? It speeds up, absolutely. Some smart people here. What else happens to it? Goes faster. Well, it speeds up, goes faster. That would be similar. Close. It goes faster, higher pressure, and greater energization, greater energy potential. You could say caused by the pressure and the speed, but deeper into it, there is more energy within that very same fluid as it goes through the venturi, not because of just the speed and the pressure. It is activated now. It is activated. Time-space works similar to it in a sense. It's like a funnel, and out here it's moving at a different rate, and it has a different energy attractant potential out here than it does here. Now, what would this be? This is the now moment. This is the past, and this would be the future. So this is past, now, and future. And that is one of the principles of time-space movement through you. If you are present, if you are conscious of not of time, but conscious of yourself, aware of your awareness, I exist. The flow rate of time-space is different, not necessarily faster, though. As a matter of fact, you're going to begin to understand it actually appears to go slower. It actually doesn't. Everything else goes slower, but the perception is that things slow down. When you're in the now moment, the flow of time-space is more harmonious, it is more compatible, it is more serving to you than when you're hanging out in the past or hanging out in the future. That's the reason, physics reason for being in the now, not just it's nice, airy-fairy, but it has a dramatic effect on you. Let's take a moment and go back to the principle. Where's my ball? Yes, the ball actually did not move. Weird, but it didn't. Time-space moved, and when I throw that ball, when I toss it in the air, time-space is moving and it's creating gravity, a suction that will hold in physical matter, emotional matter, belief matter, and it creates reality. That is beautiful. Just the ability for you as consciousness to have this happen when consciousness doesn't have arms and legs or a brain or eyes, for you to have this happen as a result of your consciousness is truly amazing. Truly amazing. And when you can also learn to step out of mass consciousness time-space into your own time-space, when you can learn that you're no longer dependent on the other drawing, wherever the other drawing, when you're no longer dependent on time-space God, that you are truly a sovereign being with their own bond, with their own plasma, with their own everything, then you are free. Interesting, interesting, interesting. What I'd like to do at this point now is stop talking about it and start to experience it. So I'm going to footnote this by saying some of you have really been feeling strange the last couple of days and weird dreams. And I believe even before the gathering here, some of the staff was talking about the distortion of time. I believe there was a conversation back over here that isn't time weird the last day or two? Absolutely. Absolutely. You're going to find that time and space start to loosen up. It starts to become more flexible, but that's not always a comfortable feeling at first. When your body has been regulated to staying in the old belief of time and space, the old movement of it, when you get out of that, it is going to feel strange, disorientation, weird brains, and particularly weird dreams.